Now, what does this mean? If every major country, every major economy in our world today is dumping or quitting or moving away from the US dollar, what do you think you should be doing? At least protecting yourself. They're protecting themselves because our policies, as Americans, our policies are not going to change. That the policy is to keep the dollar eroding, to keep it crushed, to keep it suppressed, with an attempt to inflate ourselves out of the current debt problems. It's not going to work, but that's what the policy is. Look, the Pentagon, if you're out there in internet land, Google this. Pentagon loses $2.3 trillion. According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions, Rumsfeld admitted. So we're losing trillions of dollars. I mean, what was the bailout? How much was that? What was the last major bailout? A little bit less than $1 trillion? Oh, well, this would have helped, right? They just lost this. We can't find $2.3 trillion. It's amazing. Now, who benefits while the average citizen pays the cost? Ladies and gentlemen, you earn $1 and it immediately starts melting. Your dollar is not worth the same next week, the month after, the year after. If you are saving money in dollars, it is like saving ice cubes and thinking that when you hold an ice cube, it's going to stay intact. So the only protective measure is to exchange the dollar into something that is not an ice cube. To earn $1 and to transmute it to something that does not melt, because the dollar is a melting item. All right? And this is interesting because as traders, you go into a paper world. You're not really buying IBM, are you? No, you're buying a paper representation of IBM. You're really not buying Microsoft or Apple or Google. You're buying a binary impulse, technically a piece of paper. We go into this paper world and pull out dollars. But then what do you do with them? You've got to know what to put them into because dollars are melting by the second. GE pays no taxes. This is one of the wealthiest companies in the entire world. Now get this, right? The company, GE, reported worldwide profits of $14.2 billion. Worldwide profits. Now, where do you think they make the most of their money? In the States or overseas? Overseas. $14.2 billion, $5.1 billion of the total came from operations in the U.S. So they are largely an international company, which means they benefit when the dollar is crushed, not when the dollar rises. 14.2, they pay no taxes. I bet you pay taxes. Check this out. Bank of America, one of the largest banks in the entire world, pays no taxes. But wait a minute, not only did they not pay taxes, they got a $1 billion refund. Wow. All right? Bank of America told the newspaper reasons that bank lost $5.4 billion before taxes 2010, yada, yada, yada. Look at this. Exxon, one of the richest oil companies in the world, pays no taxes. The corporate citizens, the elite corporate citizens of the U.S. are the real beneficiaries of a debased U.S. dollar. Not you, not me. To protect ourselves, we must do as they do. The most powerful companies in the world are dumping the U.S. dollar. But how do you stay patriotic and yet dump the U.S. dollar? You have to know how to do that. All right? The short list of elite citizens that paid no U.S. taxes, look at them. Exxon, Bank of America, General Electric, Chevron, Boeing, you can look this up, Valero Energy, Goldman Sachs, no taxes. All right? Citigroup, ConocoPhillips, Carnival Cruise Line. Well, that I kind of understand. They kind of float on international waters, right? They don't owe taxes to anybody. I don't know. And on and on and on and on. What was your tax bill last year? The government's job is to serve the people, but it does only for the elite people, the elite citizens. Every corporate entity is considered a citizen. And it's these citizens that our policies basically are designed to benefit. But there are ways for us to jump on the coattails of these policies and to actually, without doing very much, increase your wealth substantially. And this is how we do it. All right? We suffer if we're not doing these actions. This is our money melting. This is the US dollar. 2003, 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, I think actually the US dollar is due for a bounce here, but these are only short-term bounces. There's going to be another 30 or 40% collapse in the US dollar, and that is going to hurt your wealth if you don't protect yourself. So how do you protect yourself from a collapsing US dollar as a trader and increase your wealth at the same time? There are 3 dominant ways. This slide is wrong. There are 3 dominant ways. First, why not trade and buy the shares of the companies that actually benefit from this whole scheme? Does that make sense? That's one way to jump on the coattails. Well, if these are the beneficiaries of these horrendous policies, then why not make the group of companies, the most elite ones that benefit, why don't those become my targets for trading and playing? That's what I teach my wealth traders to do. To pick the elite and trade the elite. Not hold and invest, but trade and profit from the shares of the elite. So that's step 1. Step 2, invest in precious metals. Gold, silver. If you have followed my work at any period during the last 2-3 years, you will know that I've been pounding the table on silver from $8. All right? When it was at $11, I went public and said silver was the most undervalued asset in the entire world, and that I encouraged everyone to empty your bank accounts and just to buy silver. My wealth traders did, and we enjoyed a move from $11 to $45, all right? More than tripled our money, more than quadrupled our money, actually. I believe silver, all right, after selling at 45, I believe silver is on its way to perhaps the mid-$20 area. Now, mark my words. In the mid-$20 area, if it gets there, we will pile into silver again. And the next move will take us over $100 an ounce. You want to be wealthy over the next 5 years? Listen to, read my lips. Silver is going to make you wealthy. Silver will be over $100 an ounce in the next several years. That is my prediction. And in our lifetime, we'll see silver perhaps over $250 an ounce. Gold is on its way to even new record highs. It needs a rest, which it's going through right now, but I see gold easily at $4,000 an ounce. I'm saying this on a recording. $4,000 an ounce, right, from its current $1,400, $1,500 an ounce range. I think it has potential to $8,000 to $10,000 an ounce. Right? You're hearing this from me. Now, I want to give you a quick statistic. In 1935, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was where? Anybody know? Was anybody alive back in 1935? All right. 1935, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was at 38. That was the price of the Dow. 38. Does anybody know what price gold was at 1935? $35. Why? Because the American government took gold away from its citizens at $20 an ounce and then jacked the price to $35 an ounce and then fixed it at $35 an ounce. But listen to this. The Dow was not capped. The Dow at 38 with gold at 35 were basically at parity. Gold was not allowed to trade. The Dow was allowed to trade. And the Dow went where? 14,000? And in the 70s, when the cap was released from gold, it went to where initially? 800. From 35 to 800, back to 285, now up to 1,500. It's a baby. It wasn't allowed to trade from 1935 until a couple decades ago. For decades, it was held back. The Dow wasn't held back. Will they one day be at parity again? They were equal at one point. I believe one day we see close to parity between the Dow and gold, which means that gold either has skyrocketing wealth generating potential from where it is to 12,000, or the Dow does what? Crashes to meet gold at $1,500 an ounce. Now, both are probably not likely, but what if a little bit of it's true? What if gold gets halfway there and the Dow comes in a little bit? All right? These are the pressures I believe that make these are the things that I believe that make a precious metal program very, very important. Now, I'm not saying you go out and buy physical. I'm going to show you how to do this through the paper world. You can do this through the paper world. And you can play foreign currencies, which is what every major wealthy foundation or company or trader does. It's the only way to protect yourself against an eroding dollar. So let's take them one by one. The best store of one's wealth. All right? Russia loves gold. Why? All right? Check this out. 10 days ago, a report in the most recent data on gold reserve holdings. Russia had purchased 27.6 tons of gold in the most recent reporting period. Russia loves gold. India loves gold. India buys IMF gold to boost reserves. China loves gold. Why? Global economist Dave Hale, who addressed the pact, yada, 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 talks about how China's gold reserve are currently at 1,050 and they're looking to buy as much as possible, yada, yada, yada. Bet on gold. Paulson, one of the most successful traders known to man today, makes the largest gain on a single trade. He trades and makes $5 billion betting against the banks in the late 2000, 2008, 2005. He takes his $5 billion and puts it into gold. Why? Why are these people doing this? All right? Warren Buffett's investment in silver. Check this out. Beginning in 1997, the Oracle of Omaha saw the value of silver glittering in the dust, yada, yada. From 1997 to 2006, his investment fund, Berkshire Hathaway, accumulated over 37% of the world's known silver supply. 37% of the world's silver was owned by Warren Buffett. Why? Why is Paulson into gold? Why is every major country, Russia, China, India, buying up gold? Why is Warren Buffett one of the largest owners of silver? Right? Maybe to protect themselves against the eroding dollar.